Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, Parliamentary Committee considers flag petition. Suva businessman charged for possession of illicit drugs. And Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama launches National Environment Week. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights hasn't yet decided whether to allow public submissions on the petition calling for a referendum on changing the national flag. However, today public submissions started for 3 other bills before the committee, which include an inaugural bill on the protection for the national flag, a coat of arms bill and a bill to amend the employment relations promulgation. Maggie Boyle with the story.
In March, opposition MP Bill Ngavoka tabled a petition with 1,500 signatories calling for a referendum on changing the national flag. Committee Chairman Ashnil Sudhakar says this matter is now being deliberated, but a question mark looms on whether or not to take public submissions.
The actual petition is under consideration by the committee. That's all I can say about it. But the committee decided to do some groundwork on the petition itself to see if there is any basis. And you would have heard this morning that I asked one of the questions I raised to the Solicitor General was: is there any law on the flag, and is there any law on referendum in the country prior to these bills coming into force? And there are none.
Also before the committee today were the Solicitor General Sharvada Sharma and his team of drafters presenting a brief on 3 bills: the Coat of Arms Bill, the National Flag Protection Bill and the Employment Relations Promulgation Amendment Bill. Sudhakar says the brief will guide their discussions with public submissions for these bills beginning this week.
Copies of the bills are available on the parliamentary website. People are encouraged to read those bills and see what changes they are thinking should be made to the actual acts, or if there are any changes to the bills itself. And they can then make submissions to the committee, written oral submissions.
The deadline for public submissions on all 3 bills is the 12th of June. As to whether or not public submissions will be made on the flag referendum petition, Sudhakar says a committee decision is expected soon. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
A 31-year-old businessman of Namboa, Suva appeared at the Suva Magistrates Court today charged with unlawful possession of illicit drugs. Rahesh Chand's shop was raided last week after a tip-off that he allegedly received stolen items. Chand was arrested on Thursday after the raid where white crystals believed to be illicit drugs were found in his possession. The raid was the result of investigations in relation to a number of robberies in the Southern Division involving 5 men who have since been charged. A separate investigation is continuing in the discovery of a large amount of glue in his shop. Investigators have discovered that the suspect does not hold a valid license to sell glue. Chand has been released on bail. Sustainability is the key to keeping Fiji beautiful. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama made the comment while launching Environment Week today. Ali Kimbia has more.
Sustainability should be at the top of everything we do in order to protect our country and its environment. Speaking to students and guests in Valley Levu, Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama urged everyone to think how they can help protect the environment and the country.
So let us join hands as a nation and use National Environment Week this year to make a solemn promise to ourselves as Fijians that we will all strive as hard as we can to protect our surroundings and the world in which we live. Take great pride in keeping Fiji clean and Fiji green.
Bainimarama says the government has embraced sustainable development.
Well, we should not litter and put more rubbish bins and organize more campaigns to keep Fiji beautiful and clean.
I think that in order to keep Fiji, to maintain it beautiful, to stress up this cleaning campaign and to keep our shores beautiful.
I think we need a lot of awareness to be done to the young generation, especially the primary schools and the secondary, because they can know what is the Environment Week is about.
With the theme 7 billion dreams, 1 planet, consumed with care, the government is currently formulating new sustainability plans for the next 5 to 20 years. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
12 memorandum of understandings have been signed by the government in China's third largest city, Guangdong. The MOU signing shows Fiji's growing interest in the most populous province in mainland China. Akusita Tale has more.
Guangdong is a coastal province of southeast China with a population of about 100 million. 12 commercial and government MOUs signed today range from strengthening cooperation between Suva and its capital city, Guangzhou City, trade, health, tourism and education.
They will contribute to the improvement of social and economic relations and develop active technical cooperation between the countries in their respective areas. The commercial MOUs will be conduits for the growth of bilateral trade and investment by Guangdong nationals in Fiji.
Guangdong is an important international market for trade, investment, consumption, tourism and a global manufacturing center. Its trade with Fiji now accounts for 1/5 of China's total trade with Fiji.
Guangdong is comprehensively deepening the reform, promoting a pilot project of free trade zone in a prudent way, and building a high-level system of investment and trade regulation which aligned with international practices.
Fiji's Consular General to Shanghai, Naomi Leweni, says this shows Fiji is progressing well.
That the work that's been conducted out there in China has shown the fruits now, that a lot of interest in Fiji has been created, and that is why this team is here.
Fiji has a special connection with Guangdong province as a large number of Fijians of Chinese descent are from there. Trade flows between Fiji and China have been flourishing in recent years, and the total trade value between the two countries grew from $224 million in 2010 to $990 million in 2014, representing an increase in approximately 342%. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The police force is concerned about attacks on its officers who are responding to reports of criminal activities. In the last few weeks, there have been at least 3 reports of suspects attacking police officers, including the police commissioner, Major General Ben Hunewald. Ellen Stahls reports.
This was the crime scene from a little over a week, where Police Commissioner Major General Ben Hunewald was injured while trying to stop attackers from robbing a bottle shop cum restaurant. Assistant Commissioner of Police Chief of Operations Rusiate Tundravu says they have seen an increase in attacks on officers.
The only thing that we are doing is trying to look at the way that we can approach the crime scene again, plan well ahead, rather than confronting criminals in the manner that we have seen in the last few instances.
Tundravu says batons, torches and handcuffs are the aids issued to police officers. Speaking on FBC TV's For the Record program about a fortnight ago, Police Commissioner Ben Hunewald said police are looking into acquiring taser guns.
That is the world-renowned new way of arming police officers in terms of these types of crimes, so that you can defend yourself without a lethal weapon.
While discussions are continuing about the use of taser guns, police are looking at other ways to handle their attackers. Tundravu added the public needs to know that they are doing all they can given the limited resources available to them. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
Still to come, farmers learn more about off-season vegetable farming.
Ya vino pala pronto po chuma ni mo si mo kana pula FM number 2 na sir na ngona ni ndre manda kay Central Rental sa po ka na so ko minutes me va na koloko. Ni sarbola.
Oya wa ti soni dalai.
Go nga mo si don.
Na ma dikirau mena tolu kene bitu. Ena via kabi moliti kene porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM number 2 na sir.
Farmers from Fiji have joined their counterparts from 5 other Pacific Island countries to learn about technologies that will support off-season vegetable farming. The workshop is being held at the Singatoka Research Centre. Christopher Chand reports.
The Pacific Island Farmers Network Organization, or PIFON, is hosting this seminar to educate growers about how to farm vegetables during the off-season.
One of the things that we've been discussing already is that consumers, they want to eat the vegetables that they want to eat, no matter what month it is. And this is a challenge for our farmers to grow their vegetables year-round.
The tourism industry imports vegetables like tomatoes, capsicum and English cabbage, to name a few, which are not available throughout the year.
These are products that our farmers can grow during the off-season, but it's much more difficult. So what this training is looking at is how we can share technologies and experiences with those farmers to capitalize on growing these crops during the off-season.
Fiji is considered to be a leader in agriculture in the South Pacific region, and we have, through our experiences in the past, learned quite a lot, and we are now prepared to share our experiences with the region.
Local and regional farmers have come together to enhance vegetable production.
The main reason why farmers are not growing vegetables in the off-season is because of excessive rain and high temperatures and the high incidence of pest and disease during this time.
This is a challenge that exists for the whole region, not just Fiji, and it's an issue that everyone's been talking about, and I think we need to take this issue head on.
It's another important step in the development of the agriculture sector. The hope is regional farmers will go back to their countries inspired and motivated by the experiences shared with them this week. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
3 suspects involved in a series of robberies have been remanded in custody and will appear in the Lautoka High Court on June 10th. Chosayan Dombui, Samisoni Mekemeke and Viliame Tuivanovo, all aged between 19 and 20 years old, were charged for aggravated robbery and theft. Dombui has 4 cases against him, 2 files are for previous matters. He will appear again in the Nandi Magistrates Court on June 15th to answer to the first 2 cases of breach of order and aggravated robbery. Magistrate Mohammed Azhar has remanded all 3 suspects after they were produced in the Nandi Magistrates Court this afternoon. The new Companies Act requires all registered businesses to file financial disclosures with the Registrar of Companies. This was an issue brought up by some commercial entities during public submissions. However, speaking on FBC TV's For the Record last night, Ashnil Sudhakar, the chair of the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights, assured that all necessary protections will be in place.
The Companies Act was passed in the last Parliament session, becoming the governing law for all companies. Not all commercial entities are happy with the requirement to disclose their financial records to the Registrar of Companies.
That was the submission and perception of some of the submittees who came to the committee, is that if I'm doing a private business, if I'm earning X amount of dollars, why should I show the people, the public, of what amount of money I'm earning? But you see, you have to balance the privacy issues with public policy issues at some stage.
Ashnil Sudhakar, who chaired the parliamentary committee, agrees that some companies are sensitive about their financial records being available to a third party. Under the Act, the registrar is allowed to make public the said records if deemed necessary.
It's not that once you file your accounts, once you file your documents, financials, it doesn't become automatically available to the public. You have to ask, you have to go to the registrar's office, you have to ask, and you have to, the word there used is the registrar may disclose the accounts.
Sudhakar says there will be specific regulations under the Act which are bound to cover these concerns. The Act is expected to be assented to by the President shortly. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Regional peace builders have gathered in Suva for the Pacific Civil Society Forum on Peace and Security. The forum coincides with the week of the Forum Regional Security Committee meeting. It's an annual event which began in 2009, highlighting the role of the civil society, including supporting the participation of women and youth in the prevention of conflicts and building and sustaining peaceful communities.
This year we have decided that given the range of global issues, but also given what's going on in our region, it's really important that we strengthen solidarity. So the networks that are present are also networks like the Pacific Conference of Churches and other regional civil society networks working on the issues of peace and security.
21 participants are attending the forum, which will end on Wednesday. YatSen Secondary School has established an agreement with a school in China which will see the exchange of teachers and students. YatSen has signed an MOU with Huizhou Zhongkai High School in Guangdong to strengthen their Chinese language and cultural program. The two schools will exchange teachers and students to establish long-term relationships in terms of resource development. The director of the Chinese Education Society, Warren E. Yi, says this will help the YatSen students better understand the Chinese culture and vice versa.
It is the learning of, particularly in Chinese, and learning about culture and the heritage of China. And in terms of their side, it's an attempt to establish themselves in an international scene, to learn about Fiji, its culture and the environment as well.
So the aim of Huizhou Zhongkai High School to establish a sister relationship with YatSen has been achieved and promises huge education opportunities in the future. And we turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the very latest.
Vinaka, Jackie, and welcome back. It's good to have you back in studio.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, coming up in sports tonight, Fiji Under-20 football side succumbed to tournament favourite Germany this afternoon, and Telecom Fiji Warriors record third and final win on South American tour. That's coming up after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulablaka. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The Vodafone Fiji football side were beaten 8-1 by Germany in their opening match of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup this afternoon. Fiji trailed 6-0 at the break but returned with a better second half performance. Meanwhile, thousands of people around the country watched our Fijian boys perform at the FIFA event for the first time. Here in the capital, people flocked into malls where FBC TV was accessible to watch our national juniors take on the Germans. FBC TV will also air live Fiji's other two pool matches, as well as the semi-finals and final. Fiji's next match is against Honduras at 4 p.m. on Thursday. The Telecom Fiji Warriors defeated Uruguay 42-22 this morning, ending its South American tour unbeaten. Halfback Serupipeli Wularica was the toast of the Warriors side, scoring a total of 22 points, courtesy of a try, 3 penalties and 4 conversions. Nandronga Sente Roni Vasiteri scored 2 tries, with John Stewart and Kini Douglas also dotting down tries. 10 players in the Warriors side have been included in the Vodafone Flying Fijians extended squad for the Rugby World Cup. The team will return to the country on Wednesday. The Fiji Hockey Federation is taking great strides to prepare the national men's and women's teams for regional competitions later in the year. With the main focus on the Pacific Games in July, the association is looking to send its best players to compete. Tsalinda Dakadaka reports.
Fiji Hockey is confident of a good outing at the Pacific Games in Papua New Guinea. This will not be the only focus for Fiji, with the Oceania Championship also coming up in New Zealand this October.
We are now just working towards paying off our levies for the Pacific Games, but we're also having now to also concentrate on preparing for the Oceania Cup.
Fiji's last taste of international matches was the Hockey World Series Round 1 in Suva last year. Fiji Hockey has put in its bid to host the tournament again this year with more teams to compete.
Putting an application to host World Series 3, which will be held next year. And from what International Hockey is saying, they're looking at getting other teams to come apart from the Pacific Island teams. So next year's our centenary, and it's all starting quite quickly in terms of preparations.
Fiji Hockey will be making its return to the Pacific Games after missing out in 2011. There is an air of confidence within the team camp that they will return with medals come July. Thailand Odakadak, FBC Sports.
That's it from sports tonight. Jackie's up next with... Sorry, my apologies. Before I go, a very special message. I'd like to wish this mischievous-looking girl a very happy birthday. And if you're wondering who those chubby cheeks belong to, that's the one and only Jackie Spade. Happy birthday, Jackie.
Thank
you. Apart from feeling older, do you feel wiser? Yes? You feel a bit wiser, I hope?
So much more wiser than you. Thank
Wiser
you so
than me?
much.
I'll take it. And if you want to wish Jackie happy birthday, send her a picture, send her a message with the hashtag #TheRealTailevuan. Send your messages on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. She'll get them, no worries. Back to you, Jackie.
The Fiji Airways A330 aircraft, which was recently damaged in a tarmac incident, comes back tonight. The aircraft was sent to Australia for repairs after being hit by a supply truck operated by Air Terminal Services. Fiji Airways confirms the A330 is flying the Sydney to Nadi route and is scheduled to land tonight. An ATS loader backed into the cargo section of an A330 aircraft like this one on May 16th. Due to the substantial damage, the flight was cancelled with all 273 passengers put on another plane bound for Los Angeles the next day. Cloudy periods with a few showers prevailed over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, whereas fine weather prevailed elsewhere. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving over the Solomon Islands. Another trough affects North and Southern Cooks. Suva and Savu recorded the lowest temperatures at 28 degrees, while Bai and Lambasa had the highest at 31 degrees. Forecast for tomorrow, cloudy periods with few showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, elsewhere fine. Further outlook, fine apart from brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. And recapping our main stories. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights is yet to decide whether to allow public submissions on the petition calling for a referendum on changing the national flag. A 31-year-old businessman of Namboa Suva has been charged with unlawful possession of illicit drugs, and Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has urged everyone to think of how they can help protect the environment and the country as he launched National Environment Week. Now to the results of last week's poll question. Our question was, should there be a stricter requirements for getting a driver's license? 69% of the vote said yes. To our poll question of the week, should retail opening hours be extended all over Fiji? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share them with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.